Hey guys, thanks for joining me out on the ice today, and we got a windy one, so hopefully this isn't going to be too annoying. The camera's not going to be moving around, and hopefully there's not going to be a lot of background noise for this video. If there is, I apologize. This video though is really about even before you get out here on the ice. This is about purchasing considerations you should be making when you're thinking about buying electronics for ice fishing. I'm going to give you my top 5 best tips to help you make sure you get the right electronics when you get out on the ice this year. So tip number 1 is to consider the batteries you're going to be using to power your electronics. We're putting huge screens on the ice today, and the average size is probably 9-inch displays. You know, you're seeing guys with 10 and 12-inch units out there as well. So we need to power these things up and make sure they'll last all day. The best power source you can use is a lithium battery. And the reason why lithium is better than a traditional sealed lead acid battery is the discharge curve. So on a lead acid battery, your discharge curve basically just goes like this till it dies. On a lithium battery, it goes like this and then plummets. So you're gonna get 12 volts out of your battery for basically your entire day fishing. That's gonna help your electronics perform better with that higher voltage. You're gonna have update rates that are a lot quicker. You're not gonna have any glitching on your unit at all when you're constantly at 12 volts. So that's the biggest benefit to lithium. The other thing to lithium is just the weight savings. You can carry 2 batteries out with you now, and it's still probably gonna weigh less than one sealed lead acid battery. So for the angler who's walking out to his spot, this is a really great option to take a look at. If you already have an ice unit, maybe take a look at upgrading your batteries this year. I got links in the description there where you can purchase some of these batteries. The next thing I want to talk about is screen height. So if we have a tall screen like this, we can display a lot more information on it than on a screen like this. So the taller screen you have, the more information you're going to get. If you think about it this way, you still have to have the unit display the same amount of information on a screen that's 7 inches tall versus one that's 4 inches tall. So it's going to compact and compress all of that information onto the unit. So that's going to diminish the amount of detail you see. It's going to make it harder to see your lure separated from fish. And even if you use the zoom feature, it's still not as good as using a taller screen. Because think about using the zoom feature on a taller screen unit. Selecting the right transducer angle for the type of fishing you're doing is very important. The wider the beam angle, the more spread out that information is going to be. The narrower the beam angle, the more concentrated that information is going to be. So let's say you're fishing in deep water, let's say 100 feet plus for lake trout. You want to concentrate that information. You want to concentrate that sonar signal in order to give you the most information below you. You don't need it spreading out a wide area because you're not going to be fishing 30 feet that way or 30 feet that way. You need to concentrate what's going straight below you and basically compress all that power in that sonar beam to give you the most information. Now, on the opposite end of that, if you're fishing very shallow water, you're going to want a wider beam. In shallow water, even with a wide beam, that sonar signal is not taking a lot of time to get down there. There's still going to be a lot of power in that depth of water. That'll let you cover a bigger area around you so you can see if fish are coming in. Now, it's not going to go 30 feet out. It may only do 10, 12 feet around you, but it'll still give you that little bit more information than that narrower beam would do. You know, a good example of this is the Garmin GT10 transducer. That is their narrow beam transducer, and it's a great upgrade if you have a GT8 or one of their dual beam transducers that may have come with your unit, but you want to get out fishing in that deeper water. Now, if the brand sonar you're buying doesn't allow you to select the beam angle, you can kind of control it a little bit with the sensitivity setting. So the higher the sensitivity, the wider that beam is going to be, or the wider the power is going to be pushed out to the edges of that beam, and the lower the sensitivity, that power is going to be concentrated more to the center of that beam. The biggest tip I can give you today is to buy electronics that have a live sonar option. Just like flashers are not very popular on the ice anymore because traditional 2D sonar has really taken over, that is actually going away as well. Live sonar is where it's at on the ice. I spent all last season using live sonar, and I never use traditional sonar anymore. I see no use for it except maybe in extreme depths, but in the areas I fish, I never come across that. So while live sonar is very expensive to get into, buying a unit that has the option to add it down the road is a good way to do it. You can purchase the unit and the ice kit up front and then add the live sonar option when you can afford it. Live sonar is so important on the ice because we get just so much more information with it now. We're able to see how fish are reacting to our lure in live time. We can see if fish spook away, if they're really interested in our lure. We can see the angle that they're positioned at. So there's so many benefits to using live sonar on the ice that I highly recommend you get a unit that has a live sonar option. Now, kind of going along with that to try and keep expenses down, because let's face it, this stuff is getting ridiculously priced these days. I recommend taking the units you have on your boat off and using them for ice fishing. There's no sense in letting your unit sit in a closet or your basement or garage all winter long when you have a perfectly good unit you could use for ice fishing. If you have a 7-inch display or bigger, that's all you need. And chances are that unit may already have a live option as well. And if you have live sonar on your boat, definitely take that off too, so you can use that on the ice. I've got another video right here that you can take a look at that'll show you everything you need to purchase to convert your unit from your boat to an ice fishing unit, no matter what brand you own. So guys, there's 5 tips for you if you're thinking of purchasing electronics this year. If you're not sure what to get, take a look at the description below there. I've got a whole bunch of links with different kits from different brands where you can see which one is going to be best suited for you for your budget. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate your views and support. Take a look at these other videos as well on ice fishing that you might find useful. Hey, if you've stuck around this long in the video, just like that hidden track on your favorite CD, I've got one more tip for you. And it kind of goes along with that last one we talked about taking the units off your boat and using them year round. Well, this one is about using the units to their full potential. So we talk a lot about fish finders in this video and using our fish finder on the ice, but these units also, most of them now have GPS built in. So you can also use them as a navigational aid on the lake. Now, if you're going out on a snowmobile or an ATV, simply just adding a ram mount to the base will allow you to attach it to your vehicle. You can add a battery to that as well, run another power cable, snap the unit out of your ice fishing kit, put it on your machine, and now you've got full GPS with mapping on the lake you're fishing. When you get to the spot, it's easy enough just to pull it off, put it back into your ice kit, get in your hut and start fishing. Or if you want to be really mobile, what you're able to do is just fish right off of your machine. Drill a hole, keep everything mounted on your machine, and then start fishing. Now, if you're an angler who typically walks out on the ice, you can take advantage of this as well. Just keeping the unit on while you're walking out there, it'll keep the GPS position tracking, you'll see where you've walked, and it can be a little difficult to hold the unit. What you can do is just leave it in your sleigh. One tip I can give you for this, if you're doing this, is put the unit in standby mode. That'll shut the screen off, save battery life, but still track your position as you're heading out to your spot. When you want to check to see where you are, all you have to do is hit power again, exit out of the menu, and now you can use it as your GPS to see exactly where you are positioned. So the whole idea of this video is just to help you get the most out of the unit, use it as multi-function as possible. So just think about these things as you're considering what you're going to purchase for the upcoming ice season.